Bro. And bro, Justin, I ain't trying to put you on blast, but I saw that man in tears, bro. I'm not no politician, bro. Listen to the kids, bro. I don't understand it, bro. I've been conflicted, bro. But it, bro. I don't know what's gonna happen tonight. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, bro. We the millennials, bro.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Charles Blades here with David Morgan coming at
What's going on?
What's going on? What did we name this?
Current.
The Current Gaming Podcast. You can check us out on YouTube and Stitcher and other services we're not available on. Yeah, this week been a bit of a slow week, I guess, for gaming news for the most part. Nothing too major in terms of, like,
compared to the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Which was just bananas.
Yeah, in terms of games being released or announced or anything, not too much going on. But like still some interesting stuff going on. So I guess we'll get right into that with Square Enix. Probably had the biggest news of the week, where they released the developer of Hitman.io Interactive, who are I believe a French developer, or no?
I think so.
Danish developer. My bad.
Oh,
whatever. Europe just blends all together. We're American, so it's just it's all the same. It's a continent. Right. But they were the developers of last year's episodic Hitman game, and have developed other things for Square in the past, and just apparently due to sales for the series or something to that effect, they have been let go by Square Enix. And I don't know, a bit of interesting information, because by all accounts, Hitman was kind of one of these games that it just hung around, and then by the end of the year, I felt like it was on a few people's Game of the Year list for being something that while maybe the launch thing kind of messed it up in a lot of people's eyes, was still a good product. And I didn't play it or anything, but I know you played a little bit, and I thought it was a real weird release at first. But as it kind of went on, I thought it gained some traction. So I wonder if the release thing hurt it more so, or it was just the game itself. I don't know. What's your kind of take?
Definitely the episodic stuff hurts it, because I remember the episodes coming out, and one would be really good. Like Sapienza was fucking awesome, and then some of them just weren't that good. So people were I think just buying a few of them. If they just released the whole game at first, just complete like it is now, people would have definitely taken a lot better to it. I think it would have, because it's a really beautiful game. It runs super well. It's really well done. It's really mechanically deep, just like the old Hitman games. It's super, quirky. It has the Hitman charm of just, being really silly with it. People really like it because they like that classic Hitman feel. And yeah, I just think the episodic thing hurts it, because, nobody wants to invest in a game that's, being kind of delivered piecemeal. And the game does have a lot of replayability in certain episodes. And I don't know why Square Enix is kind of shifting to this, because I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be...
Remake's episodic.
Yeah, what the fuck? It just seems like they're trying to push things out the door, to build hype, when the games are already good. I'm sure that game's going to be good, but being episodic is going to make a lot of people wince at it. I don't want to pay for a part of a game.
Yeah.
And then the second part, I don't know if it's even going to be good or not. So that definitely hurt it. But IO Interactive doesn't even have... you kept them around for Kane and Lynch, all the Kane and Lynch games, and then you kick them out for Hitman? The Hitman that came out last year that was good and people liked? I don't think it sold that well, but it's a good game by all accounts. And Square Enix is stating here that they've got record profits. So is this just them trimming the fat to really up those? I don't get it. I just don't know. They're not in some kind of financial turmoil where they've got to let these people go because it's hurting their business. I just feel like they're just trying to really push those profits even further next year. Maybe they're getting scared that they won't be able to peak like this again. I don't know. It's really bizarre to me.
Yeah, I thought it was when the episodic thing happened, I'm between two minds on this, because for TV shows in particular, like binging shows is the way to go. There's no week to week shows. I don't watch. There's not one show outside of I watch some reality TV shows that are week to week, but that's it. There's nothing I would prefer to watch week to week. But with games, I kind of feel like it is a little bit different in the sense that games are so long. I don't hate them being broken up as much, but I also feel like at the same time, games don't lend themselves to taking long chunks of time off and then jumping back into them. Because if you've ever played a game that's, I don't know, like a 30-hour game, you play 15 hours of it and then something else comes out, you get distracted, and then you come back, and there's no like easy jumping in point from wherever you are. You've forgotten a bunch of mechanics. You don't understand like exactly what was going on in the story because it's not always the most like, it's not catching you up on stuff like a traditional episodic thing would go. So I don't know. I was between two minds with the whole episodic thing, and then you also come down to, I started doing this with all the Telltale games. I just don't buy them like day one. Like I'm not gonna keep up with them. I'll just buy them and then binge them in a week. Like that I feel like is the best way to experience that kind of content. Plus, like when it first comes out, it's X amount of dollars. By the time even before the last episode of the series will go out, the price will drop at some point. So like it's like, why wouldn't you just wait and you can get the exact same experience as somebody who plays it at the end while still like paying less? It just doesn't make sense, I don't think, for a lot of games. And like I feel like Square trying to capitalize on this model doesn't in a lot of ways do justice to what their games are. Like
right.
with Final Fantasy and with Hitman,
especially Final Fantasy, because
yeah,
like,
Final Fantasy makes no fucking sense.
Game.
It makes
you're gonna
no
play
sense.
What, I don't know how long the original game is. Here, let me look it up. How long to beat Final Fantasy 7?
But I think they've said the first episode is just going to take place in the main city of
39 to 40 hours. So you're telling me that you want me to play fucking 20 hours? I don't even know how many. Let's say it's going to be 2 episodes just to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's probably going to be more.
It's going to be 4 or 5.
Okay, so you're going to play 10 to 20 hours of a game, put it down for months and months and months in an RPG, and then come back, and I guess it tracks your save or something, and then you're going to pick it up right where you left off? I can't do that with any RPG. I stopped playing Persona 5 for a week, and I was like, what the fuck was going on again?
That's turn-based, and this like Final Fantasy 7 is going to have similar combat to Final Fantasy 15, and that combat is layered, and it is deep. It's not
You're going to forget
You're going to forget, and like, I could see them easing people back in with each episode, but like, at the same time, it's like, just put the fucking game out. Like, what, you released Final Fantasy 7 in 1990, whatever the fuck, as one game. Why can't you fucking release this one as one game? It makes no sense.
They'll say it's too big for the disc.
It makes no fucking sense.
Even though Blu-ray discs can hold like, gigs and gigs of data. And even then, just put it on 2. Whatever, put it on 2 discs.
Yeah, the original Final Fantasy was on 4 discs. So like,
yeah, it's fine.
It makes no sense. It sucks for everybody that works at IO Interactive because apparently, by all accounts, they made a good game and kind of getting the shaft for it. And they had just talked about, actually, before this happened, the second season of Hitman. So who knows what the fuck's gonna happen with that? Because it's not like they control the IP. Square owns the IP, so maybe they put a different studio on it. Maybe it just kind of sits dormant. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, it's, speaking of things gonna sit dormant. BioWare Montreal, who just put out Mass Effect Andromeda, apparently are being scaled down and kind of just people being picked off and sent to work at other studios. Most notably, EA's other studio, what's it called? Motive, that's head up by Jade Raymond, who's the person that made the Assassin's Creed franchise, I believe, with Ubisoft back in the day. But yeah, apparently, Mass Effect Andromeda, by all accounts, sold okay, I guess. I mean, but it's a Mass Effect game, so that was kind of a given. But like, the dark cloud continues to hang over this game.
Here's my theory: you can only fool people once on that kind of shit. Like, you can put out like 3 really good games, and then like sour them on the end of the third one, sort of, and then promise something new, and then it not be what people expected, and it get a lot of bad, word of mouth. And then people just aren't going to buy the next one. Like, you have to give it time. Just like Fallout 4. If there was a Fallout 5 that came out, it would not, like right now, it would not sell as well as like Fallout 3 did.
See, because I don't know.
At least that's just, maybe I'm giving people too much credit on this because consumers, by all accounts, you can't predict how they're going to act.
Fickle.
Yes. But like, I personally, I wouldn't buy a Fallout 5 right now because I bought Fallout 4 hoping it would be good, even though, every part of me was like, it's not going to be as good as you want it to be. And I was disappointed. And I feel like a lot of people did the same thing with Andromeda. And now BioWare notices that they're not going to be as easily persuaded on the next one. So they're just going to let it sit because a lot of the talent left. That's
well, keep in mind, the Mass Effect Andromeda's developer is BioWare Montreal, who were not BioWare Edmonton, who were the developers of the first 3 games. They are making a new IP. It's called Dylan. That's supposed to be rumored to be like a Destiny kind of game.
Interesting.
But yeah, so it's not exactly the same kind of talent pool, but like still, it's like you give these developers this IP that they're supposed to do something with, and I don't know, like at the same time, it's like what I was gonna break into was like, yeah, they had to get it out with the fiscal quarter and stuff like that, and that's kind of why it looks a little rushed and stuff like that. But by all accounts, they've been working on this game for fucking 5 years, so like at a certain point, it's like not the publisher's fault, and it kind of you got to take some responsibility for like maybe mismanaging some stuff at the studio end. So like some shit went wrong with this game, and it's really interesting. So yeah, this is definitely. So what they're putting the Mass Effect franchise on hold. Do you see Mass Effect coming back, and what? Give me a time frame, because I don't know about you, but it seems obvious it's gonna fucking come back.
Yeah, I think if I had to guess, I would say as soon as this other game, this Dylan game, is that what you call it, is probably slated to release, I assume that they'll get probably some of the talent that worked on the original 3 games together with some of the new blood, and they'll kind of share ideas. And I feel like in the next probably 4 years or so, you would expect to see some kind of announcement coming out from that new team that's probably going to get put together, because you can bounce back easily from a kind of mistake like this by saying, oh, like Peter Molyneux does it all the fucking time. My last game sucks. The next one's going to be really good.
Yep.
They could definitely do something like that and like just showcase something awesome, and it could be awesome.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is the logical next step for that franchise, but that's just a guess, obviously.
Yeah. No, I feel like another thing they could do is just have the central team just after Dylan comes out, depending on how successful that is. Like all the rumors and accounts are it's going to be like a Destiny Division kind of style, like always online, faux MMO kind of thing.
Oh, interesting.
But I could see the main BioWare team like doing what the main Bethesda team does with Elder Scrolls and Fallout, where it's Elder Scrolls and then 4 years later it's Fallout, and then it'll be Elder Scrolls 6 and so on and so forth. And do that with Mass Effect and Dragon Age, and like that would be kind of similar. I feel like that's not out of the realm of possibility. Plus, EA has a Star Wars license, so like that there will be millions of Star Wars games from here on out on your mobile devices. Speaking of mobile devices, Nielsen, who are the people that track the TV ratings and stuff, if you're unfamiliar, came out with a report about gamers and kind of what it means to be a gamer and stuff like that. That's pretty interesting. There's a lot of facts, a lot of figures being thrown around.
A lot of info here.
So apparently they're in the total swath of the population, their tracks are people that played games. What is it? Is it? How do they define a gamer? I'm trying. They didn't ask people if they were gamers, because number one, I think gamers is a fucking stupid.
I would never own up to that. I'd be like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no. I think that's a terrible. That's like fucking like I'm not a TVer.
Are you a booker?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I guess you would call yourself a reader, but like I don't know. It is just I don't know. It's a bad moniker. So they don't ask people, are you gamers? They ask people, how often do you play games? And I think it's something like 8 hours a week is like that was their baseline, where they would then consider them a gamer. And what they're showing, I guess they do this survey every year. So in 2012, it was 58% of people at least met that criteria to call themselves gamers, age 13 or above. So I think that's actually a big talking point is over 13, because like I feel like a lot of younger kids would more aptly fit into this definition because like of things like Minecraft and
you can't change it now. They've been doing the survey for
I guess
5 years. Can't compare them. I bet like next year, the year after that, it'll just keep going up because of what you're talking about.
But so it's gone up year over year, and this year they say 64% of people play games, which I feel like is a bit of a high number because they do include the mobile stuff. Which I don't want to be like the purist, like, oh my god, mobile games are terrible, because there are some good ones, but like, you're not the same. If you're playing,
it's not the same market.
Yeah, if you're playing Bejeweled and what's the game that is Bejeweled?
Candy Crush.
That's what the fuck I meant to say. But you're not playing anything else. It's like it's not like the same kind of thing.
You can't get away from the gamer moniker without also, they could be like, are you a gamer? And only the people that didn't exclusively play those games would say yes, but that's just not. It's not fair representatively, but
It's what you have to do. But yeah, they break it down by who plays more things. They have 45% of people play on one device, and they break devices up between console, mobile and tablet, and then computer. And then 40% of people play on 2 or more devices, and 15% of people play on 3 or more devices, which I think is a pretty interesting thing. So it does show a lot of people. Like, I own I own now a PC, I own a Nintendo Switch, and a PS4. So I'd be in that 3 like kind of category. And I do it on my phone, so yeah. But like at the same time, there are people that just like it's a little weird to me that people like 45% of people only play games on one device, and you have to assume most of like not all but some of that percentage is people just playing on their mobile device. And so like why would you consider them like it's not the same market, you know what I'm saying? Like there's not for every person playing on their mobile device, it's I don't know.
Well, it also you mentioned earlier you thought it was super weird that about a fourth of the people that they surveyed didn't know, that called them, that they consider gamers, didn't know what a PlayStation 4 was.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the platform splits, about a fourth of the people that they consider gamers also only play on a mobile and tablet. So, that kind of adds up.
Yeah, so it's like,
You'd expect like my mom to be like,
mm-hmm.
If she didn't raise a person who plays games, to be like, I don't know what a PS4 is. I never pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and so PS4 77%. This is in the moniker that they have as gamer itself. So 77% of quote unquote gamers know PS4, 72 is Xbox One. And then it falls off dramatically when you get to the Nintendo Switch, which is around 30%, which I think is actually a good thing for Nintendo. Because like the less people that know about it now, like they're only gonna build up
sales
awareness.
Are only gonna go up.
Yeah, so
100 people, 100% knew about it, and the sales were what they were. It'd be like, you might expect those to drop off.
Yeah, and there's some more there's some obvious ones that are still just like, yeah, this makes sense. It's like where do you prefer to how do you prefer to play your games? Console gamers overwhelmingly physical, PC gamers overwhelmingly digital, which that would make sense.
Where the fuck can you buy a physical PC game?
Yeah,
but isn't like StarCraft.
Oh yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but I don't know. That's just a little thing I thought was interesting. And there's some other. How much do you spend on video games per month? PC gamers spend more money per month, but people that prefer digital games on consoles spend more than that prefer digital games on PC, which is interesting. That might have something to do with like the free to play kind of market. I feel like,
or the
or
piracy market.
Well, yeah, that too, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point.
Quote unquote market.
Yeah. Yeah, no, just all pretty interesting facts and figures. You can check that survey out. It's just not everything is like perfect, because like the Nielsen ratings are kind of like, in terms of like the way they rate TV shows is kind of like backwards and shit, because you have to like self-report how it works, and it doesn't make any sense. So like I don't know how much stock you want to put into this stuff, but I don't know. I thought it was really interesting, and like I don't know. I'm obsessed with stats and stuff like that, so I think it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Facts and figures.
Next, facts and figures. You got to figure out that Vanquish is coming to PC.
Weak transition, but you did so.
And yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that they teased it in Bayonetta, but you said you're really excited about this.
I'm really fucking hyped, dude. I love Vanquish. I played it when I was pretty young, I guess. I think I got it for my birthday when I was like 16 or 17. Really fun game. I played it on 360 originally, and I'm really hyped to play it on PC with a keyboard and mouse, high resolution.
Yep.
I think everybody should experience this game if you're a fan of action games. It's literally...
So sell me on this game. Sell me on this game, because I'm playing Nier right now, and I like the combat in that game more than I expected.
Okay.
So break down why I should play Vanquished.
This game is one of the primary mechanics of this game is doing a rockstar slide on your knees while rockets in your legs propel you forward in slow motion while shooting at things. That is a primary mechanic of the combat. That should be enough to sell you alone. But
quite metal.
The game has a slow-mo system that you can upgrade, so it's very cool for that. Not very revolutionary, but it works really well with the gameplay and the sliding around, and the cover system's fun. The enemy types are pretty varied from what I remember. The bosses are cool. Then in the first section, there's a boss you fight. There's like gifs of it and stuff that go around. It's like a giant kind of crab tank. I think it's a recurring enemy. And once you get its health down low enough, it shoots so many rockets out of the top of it that they just fill the sky. Like it's like dense with these little micro missiles, and it just looks so fantastic. And there's just cool, moments like that. It's like if you like action, player action games, character action games, I think is what people like to call them now. Like Bayonetta and like Nier,
Devil May
Cry. Yeah. This is that just very well done in a third-person shooter format. Like as well as you can make that kind of a game a third-person shooter, that's what Vanquish is. The story I remember not being too spectacular, but it's pretty funny and like how B-movie like sci-fi it is.
Over the top kind of stuff.
Platinum's always been good for that. The enemies are very the villains are very comically Saturday morning cartoon, and it's just it's very fun. It's a fun game. The gameplay is very smooth. And it looks beautiful, honestly. So I'm really excited for people to experience this that didn't get the chance to.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested on it. I kind of feel like with this and then Bayonetta, I feel like this stuff may be coming to consoles, maybe like the current gen consoles with PS4 and Xbox One. I thought maybe that all happens, and I would prefer to wait for that, to be totally honest. But
what would be really cool is like a rare rewind kind of thing with Platinum games.
Yeah, like
Bayonetta, Vanquish, Metal Gear Rising, all in one $60, $40 package.
Well, that's another thing. You see, Metal Gear Rising, I could see coming out, but then they that's like a code thing with Konami they got going on.
Oh,
so
yes, true.
How do you see that? Like,
probably not.
Probably
I see that not happening.
Yeah. That would be
Vanquish and Bayonetta, though, I think for next gen, like together somehow on one disc would be a very smart move because, it's a new generation of people playing these games, and these are some of the best Platinum games that they've made. I know their track record in the last few years has been a little spotty, but I like their A-Team stuff. They're really good. Obviously, they care about it. Games, and I would even like to see like an Okami remaster for PS4. I know it's been done on like Wii, but not everybody got to even experience it there, and that game is fantastic as well. So Beautiful Joe too. Like there's so many awesome Platinum games that people would just love to see on Steam, and I'm so glad that they're really kind of taking this initiative for no apparent reason putting their best games on Steam.
Yeah, this is one of the kind of things where it was when the new gen consoles came out and they don't have backwards compatibility, you get all the remasters and stuff like that, and it's like a little much. Like I don't need fucking Lords of the Fallen remastered and shit like that. Like that's unnecessary. But these, especially if you bundle them and they're at a good price, I feel like that's not the worst thing in the world for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of bundling stuff at a good price, Overwatch has a Game of the Year edition apparently coming out. We're coming up on a year since Overwatch came out. Just basically it's supposed to come out in the anime. You get some extra skins and stuff like that, some loot boxes. But I wanted to take this announcement. Kind of where do you see Overwatch going? Like it appears to be it's the phenomenon that was last year pretty much in gaming, I would say.
Yeah.
Like do you see I'm not a PC person, and I guess Diablo's a little different because it's not like it is online, but it's not like a competitive online kind of thing.
Yeah.
How do you see this going forward? Do you think they'll continue to support it in the way that they do with their other
absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
You think like how long do you think that tail is? Do you think there'll be an Overwatch 2 in 5 years or something like that?
As long as it can go. And you've seen this with like WoW. They just will not let that horse die. Blizzard is very good at supporting their games in the long term. They know how to keep the content coming. So I think Overwatch we can expect for the next at least 2 or 3 years to be getting these kind of patches and updates. I'm not surprised there's a Game of the Year edition. Every very positively reviewed game does this kind of thing. It's just interesting to see it. Yeah, right. It's just interesting to see a primarily multiplayer game have one, and the bonuses don't look that amazing, but I mean it is a good way to get people.
Yeah, you get people maybe reinvigorated, maybe.
Yeah, but Blizzard will keep. I mean, they've been very good about supporting it so far. And
it's been great. Yeah, I'm like I play it pretty frequently, and like the level of polish they put on everything, and then also coupled with the events they do and all that stuff, which is all free, is I think a really good like experience. And I'm because they have like multiple iterations of StarCraft, multiple iterations of Diablo. I didn't know like, but WoW is just a platform and that's its own thing. So like
the problem with Blizzard games getting sequels is in a game like WoW, if there was like a WoW 2 and they didn't have a super, super intense system for porting over your character progress, people would, one, be fucking pissed that they spent, 13 or 14 years in this game and then there's a new one and they can't get any of that progress over there.
Yeah. Kind of what we're seeing with Destiny.
Yes. And two, they wouldn't buy it because they're just going to stick with the game that they've spent so much time on. So a game like Overwatch where you're getting these skins and opening these boxes, if there's an Overwatch 2 and there's, none of your progress is getting carried over because Blizzard's very good at keeping that Skinner box going and making you want to get more and more stuff. People are not going to, they're not going to feel as positively about it. So that's why Blizzard, I think, sticks to one game for a really long time is because they give these player incentives and all of these unlocks that are, very time consuming to get. And then they just keep feeding you those. And to release a sequel kind of betrays that treadmill a little bit. So I would expect Overwatch to keep getting support in the future. Same with Diablo 3. I don't think we're going to see like a Diablo 4 very soon. Obviously, the game's been out for a long time and they're still supporting it. There's a new class coming out in the next few months. So yeah, I would expect Overwatch to be just Overwatch for a pretty long time.
All right. Well, that's good to hear that they'll be kicking it around for a long time. Speaking of time, Rhyme is
doing rhymes now.
Yeah, now I'm Charlie B, and I want you to know that these are the breaks. Rhyme is coming out for the Nintendo Switch and everything else in a few months. It was formerly a PlayStation exclusive, and then apparently PlayStation just dropped it because for whatever reason. But it was announced that it was gonna have a physical, like kind of not limited release, but like a physical release, but like for an indie game. And it was gonna be $30 on all the other platforms except the Switch, where the physical was gonna be $40. And that also made the digital version of the Switch game also $40, which was kind of a shock to a lot of people because like why it's $30 on all these other platforms? Why is it more expensive on the Switch? Which kind of feeds back into the whole like Switch has cartridges. How does that affect price and stuff like that? So I don't know. Like if this is something going forward, Rhyme, for example, isn't like a game I'm like I don't think Rhyme is a system seller, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, absolutely not.
But like, if this is a trend going forward where games are like maybe $10 more, $5 more on this console because of, for whatever reason, production costs or maybe development costs to get it ported over there, like how that could be a real. I feel like that could be like if I'm trying to like if Madden is on the Switch and Madden is $10 more on the Switch, like yeah, you get it portably, but it's also like I would rather just pay less for it on my PS4 or my Xbox One or whatever. So like I think that has the potential to maybe hurt sales going forward.
Well, it'd be fine if the Switch had memory to support digital games.
Yeah. And that's another thing. So like even though the game is digital in the same price, you're still running that barrier where I only have 32 gigs like on board on the thing. So
yep. So I guess I don't know really the logistics of cartridge-based games compared to disc-based games as far as costs of manufacturing go.
Yeah.
I know that Isaac is fucking expensive on this, which is like $40. So maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
That explains that. But at the same time, a game like Snipperclips is $20 digitally and physically. And
oh, is it physical? I didn't know it was physical.
Actually, let me make sure that.
Is there a Snipperclips physical? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like it is just physical games that get the kind of extra like tax maybe, if you want to call it that.
That really would hurt the system.
I feel like that would
cross-party games go.
Yeah, so I feel like that's something Nintendo's gonna get sorted out. As far I feel like it for two reasons it would happen. It would for extra dev time. Developers may be charging a little more because like we have to port it to this underpowered system. Not that the Switch isn't good, but it is underpowered compared to the other things.
Yeah.
And then also the it doesn't use Blu-ray discs, so like
yes,
like it's a cartridge based system. So like
So
Nintendo controls that.
my mistake. Snipperclips is not available physically.
Yeah,
that was my bad. So yeah, I really have no idea. I have no idea. Had no idea that would be an issue, and I don't know what the production costs are like. But if you're selling it at a loss for what is it, $30?
Yeah,
that's crazy. I just can't believe that it would cost that much to get it physically on the Switch. But I really don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, no, interesting thing about Switch. I guess this next story is not really that much of a story. Neo Tokyo is back in Rocket League.
Hell yeah.
But it's got the not shitty map.
Yeah, fuck that old map. That map sucked.
But now it was weird to first play it. It felt like super open, and it was like it didn't feel right. But,
I like the aesthetics though, so I'm glad.
Yeah, the aesthetics of that game are phenomenal. So yeah,
did that.
Other story, not that big of a story. I think it ends today actually. So if you're listening to this, it's over. But Oxenfree is free on the Twitch Prime thing, where it's like if you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime, which means you can like sub to like one channel, and then you also get for free, and then you also get like a free game every so often, and that game is Oxenfree right now, which I feel like since this has been going on has been, so the other ones, Kentucky Route Zero and Breach and Clear, kind of not like, I don't know, I'm pretty tuned into games and I don't like care about those games in any way. But I feel like Oxenfree is like a bigger kind of, not that it's a big game, but it's a bigger name for this kind of program, which I think is an interesting thing for them to do.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's definitely an interesting choice. That game has not been out for that long, right?
Oxenfree came out about this time last year, so about a year old probably.
Wow, God, where does the time go? Well, I guess it's just like, how PSN does their free games. Yeah. Which were pretty good this month, I think.
Yeah, this month it was absolutely stuff. But yeah, I don't know, just interesting. The last story we have is Alan Wake is going away from Steam and Xbox Live because apparently the music licenses that they have in a lot of the songs, like from David Bowie and Depeche Mode, apparently don't work after Monday for whatever the fuck reason.
That's the worst trap. If you're a developer, which you're not listening to this podcast if you are, don't fucking make sure that in the like licensing contracts that your game is going to be fine in like 5 to 10 years. Because Scott Pilgrim did the same shit. Kazana Managuchi, the band that did all the music for that game, their licenses ran out, so they can't sell it anymore. And it's a great fucking game, so people are just missing out on it. And it's, yeah, sure, it increases the value of like your Xbox 360, just like PT would, because you can't get that anymore either.
Yeah.
But it's just a real bummer if you want to play these games now, because Alan Wake's fucking awesome. I love that game. And it's a shame that basically free advertising is now seen as licensing issues, and you can't sell it anymore. So I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me, but them's copyright laws.
But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I guess it came out 7 years ago. So in Europe, so I guess it has something to do with that license in there.
Seems that way.
But yeah, no, it's really weird future. Kind of makes you wonder about the whole preservation of games. I don't know how familiar you are with that kind of whole like thing, like just like old games, like even games we don't care about or bad, quote unquote bad games, are just like is it important to protect them, kind of
Game Boy games.
Yeah,
batteries that keep the memory like dead now. Can't use them.
Yeah, and then you kind of get into the whole emulation debate and the ethics of that, which is interesting. But I don't know. Alan Wake, yeah. So if you are listening to this while I'm recording it, you can get it, but like you're not. So it's not on sale anymore, but it was on sale for like $3, which yeah. So yeah.
No excuse.
Yeah, no excuse. Yeah, good game. So yeah, now we're gonna go into the next segment of the show, which is the what we've been playing part. Yeah, you in particular have something. Like, I haven't been playing that much. I mean, I've been playing a bunch of Mario Kart and Zelda still, and Rocket League too, to an extent.
Yeah.
And I finished Resident Evil 7, I guess, is the big thing I played. Finally, after playing it back when it first came out, and the beginning is way better in that game than the end. The end of that game sucks ass.
That's just the horror genre. No horror anything can get the ending right.
Yeah, the journey is better than the destination for a lot of things, I guess. But god damn, did that game suck ass at the end. The whole they bring in the red fields and stuff like that, and then like
the spoilers.
Whatever. Fuck off. Like the game.
You just finished the game.
January. Fuck off. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So
finishing the game in fucking March.
It's fucking May, bro.
Wow, an M month. It's no different.
All right. Yeah. So I guess spoilers. Like the grandma being the fucking daughter was stupid as fuck. I'm just like, why?
I thought that was okay, but
I'm just like, and then she turned into like the worst fucking scary creature in the game.
Well, that's just Resident Evil being Resident Evil.
And like, but no, like there's like it could have been cooler. Like you fight like so throughout the whole game, you're fighting the mold monsters that are like genuinely terrifying for like the entire game, and you're fighting them in these like dark, like gross, like gory kind of fucking decrepit like areas throughout the whole game, and then you fight the last like monster. She turns into like this fake ass fucking oak tree looking.
I thought that was cool. I liked the design of
the mold monster, and then she busts you out of the house into like the bright daylight, and you have to shoot her with a fucking rocket launcher or whatever. And I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is dumb. This is not what I signed up for." And yeah, and it was like super shoddy how they tied it into the Resident Evil universe, where you go through that like salt mine. And you see all the experiments they were doing and stuff like that. I'm just like, really? We needed to do this. It was so much better when it just wasn't like a traditional Resident Evil game. Like not traditional in the sense of the story, not in the like. It was awesome when you're going through the house and stuff like that. That stuff was awesome, but yeah, after that stuff, I don't know, it kind of fell apart for me. But you've been playing Dead Cells, which is it still in early access, right?
It like just came in early access, which I don't encourage anyone to buy early access games because usually that's a bad idea. Mm-hmm. But I bought it personally because it looked right up my alley, and they had a very strict release schedule, which I like to see. Not that that's always foolproof, because it's not, but I'd seen enough gameplay and I'd seen enough coverage that I was confident that just for what it is right now, I would get my money's worth, and I already have. I feel like I paid $15. Played for 5 hours so far, and I am dying to get back into it. It's not, people are calling it a Metroidvania. I don't get why the fuck everyone thinks every side-scrolling game where you have a sword is a Metroidvania now. It's not a Metroidvania. It plays like Castlevania. The gameplay the combat is very much like Symphony of the Night. It's a roguelite. It's like all of the buzzwords that turn people off. Roguelite early access. So that's like two big ones. But
2D, is that pixel art? Is it the whole Trinity?
It's actually not pixel art. Okay, so the backgrounds and the foregrounds are pixel art. The character models are low-res 3D models, which I noticed immediately, and a lot of journalists were saying,
I'm not really into that.
It's pixel art, and the animations are so good. And I'm like, yeah, because they're fucking 3D models, which is the right way to do it.
Hold on, wait. Because
you're saying way better.
3D models. Are you saying like kind of like Mighty Number 9 or like?
No.
Okay.
They're 3D models that are low poly, and then they lower the resolution to the pixel art resolution so that they look pixelated. But the way that they're animated is they're 3D, which makes it look a lot better, and I like that.
Yeah.
But people are getting confused, I think, and just it's still very very
like it's going for that kind of feel, but it's not.
Yeah. It's very obvious, like, okay, these are 3D models, the character, and it looks good. Basically, though, the gameplay loop is you start out, you can take branching paths to different levels.
I would consider I would call that pixel art. I mean, it's like trying to be pixel art, even if it's not. Really pixel art,
but it's not animated as pixel art, which is clever. It's a clever way to do it. But basically, also, you can. What?
For listeners out there, don't just Google Dead Cells. You get a bunch of skincare treatments.
Oh God, oatmeal to get rid of dead skin cells. Not
a good name. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like that name at all. It probably has something to do with the. I don't know.
You are literally a pile of dead cells that embodies a corpse.
It's not worse than PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but like.
That's a terrible name.
It's not a great name.
Who's Battlegrounds?
PlayerUnknown's.
Just making sure.
Yeah, that's the AP style book on that fucking game needs to be rewritten. That we don't have to fucking call it that anymore because it's fucking terrible. Like, just call it Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds isn't a great name by any stretch.
PUBG.
PUBG is fucking also like that. Sounds like what you say before you throw up. It's like it's not a good name at all.
PUBG. Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, you're really loving this game, right?
I love it. I would recommend it to people who like the genre, who look up some gameplay. If you like what you see, that's what you get. And the items and stuff, it all synergizes very well. A lot of diversity in the levels and items. So you're always like, oh, I can get an ice bomb and then freeze people and then whip them to death and shit like that. So it's just very on the fly, and it's pretty tough. I think the difficulty is very fair, though. They don't just like throw a billion enemies at you.
Is it like have you finished it? Is there a quote unquote ending like to it?
There's an ending. I haven't finished it yet, and I feel like I'm pretty good at the game. It's just tough. There's some some areas.
I didn't know like how the early access stuff was like working, where like it was like Darkest Dungeon, where like the second half of that game didn't come out until.
No. It has an ending. It has bosses. They said that it's about 40 to 50% of the content is still to come. So I just figured, I'll drop it at some point and I'll come back when they update it. Yeah. And that's how I like to do it sometimes. So. Yeah, that's all. And I would be playing a game called Strafe, which had an amazing trailer that we watched last night.
Yeah,
I was very excited for it, and then the game just is not good. So
yeah, it looks like that game. I guess if we're gonna talk about that a little bit, it's like a kind of like early Quake kind of vibe. I guess is like how I would describe it. Or
I guess
old kind of like first person shooters. And if you haven't watched it, you need to watch this trailer for this game. It's like Quake movie trailer or something like that, and it is the best. Like it like I'm not gonna play the game or anything like that. It's from Devolver Digital is the publisher, so it's one of their games, and like I'm not interested. Starting off, I was never gonna play this game where I don't have this nostalgia for these all like 90s shooters kind of games. But like the trailer, like I wouldn't care about this game otherwise, but the trailer for it is so good. I highly recommend everybody watch it.
They should just go into short films.
It's something. It's something else.
It was really good, but the game, unfortunately lacks content, runs poorly, combat isn't that great, and it's pretty unfair. Actually, the difficulty is just not fun. So
apparently, not getting good reviews. Speaking of reviews, that brings us to the topic of the week, which is IGN, the big gaming website, gave Prey on PC a 4 out of 10, which is a lot of not eye opening. What's the word I'm looking for? Eyebrow raising for a lot of people. And apparently, I guess the reviewer Dan Stapleton, the game didn't like just broke his save like 40 hours in.
Twice.
Game just broke, and apparently the developers sent him another save that he could pick up on from around the same spot. And that one broke, and he tried it on multiple platforms, and it was just broke, and nothing he could do. So, like he said, he gave it a 4 out of 10. Which this again, Prey is another Bethesda game. Who Bethesda last fall did the whole review policy where they have the no early reviews for any game. So all games kind of have to. Like everybody gets it on day one. Like
terrible policy.
Press companies and stuff like that. And I guess I kind of want to talk about their policy a little bit, and I also want to talk about review scores and what we feel about that. So yeah, first off, let's just go into Prey. Do you think he did the right thing here, or what are your feelings on
it? I think the game. First of all, this is unprecedented. This kind of thing I don't think has happened to this degree before, where like a technical issue in a game and in a singular case has really affected the score this heavily. Yeah. So I think he was just really kind of throwing the book at him, so to speak.
I don't know. It's not just the singular case. This has happened to other people and stuff like that. It's just not. It's not the most common issue in the world, but it has happened to other people too.
Right. So I think it's fair, but like I don't know, 4 is pretty low. I feel like that was compounded by the fact that the review copies weren't sent out, and it's just frustration on the journalist's part, which I understand totally. It's your prerogative. It's your opinion. You're allowed to give whatever score you want. People getting mad about it, I think, is ridiculous. It's not going to affect your enjoyment of the game just because someone gave it a bad score because they were having some kind of issue with it.
But I'm not allowed to like it.
Specifically, he said he would re-review the game if it got fixed, and it does not reflect the other platforms.
Yeah, the other platform scores are like an 8 or something like that, right?
Yeah, the game is not the best game in the world. I think it's good. I think it's like an 8 out of 10 game. But yeah, I think it's good because it kind of makes developers take some responsibility for, these problems that they launch the games with in this world of day one patches, don't worry, we'll fix it kind of bullshit. Yeah. I'm glad that one of the reviewers was like, yo, you can't do that. You can't release a broken game to people. I'm going to give it a bad score. So at first I was a little like, oh, that's just kind of silly. Maybe he's just mad about the review copies. And I feel like that was part of it. But more importantly, maybe this will kind of, I don't know, scare straight some developers that were gonna, just be like relying on day one patches forever. and post launch patches to fix their shit, because I don't think that that's consumer friendly at all.
Yeah, especially in the case of I've never had it happen. I don't think where a game just ate my save and that was it, and like I was fucked. But
yeah,
I like there are definitely like I don't know kind of where you draw the line with that, because like we could talk about things like Assassin's Creed Unity where like that didn't have any problems with save stuff where it just broke the game for you, but obviously there were tons of all kinds of game breaking bugs and all kinds of bugs throughout that game, and then Fallout and stuff like that, and you didn't hear it kind of talked about in the same way. So I'm kind of like there. I guess there is a line between like a game breaking bug and like a hampering enjoyment, kind of like your face is flipped inside out kind of bug. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it just like it ruined like a game breaking bug. It's like you can't play this game anymore unless you just start again. Whereas like a game like a something like Assassin's Creed Unity or maybe Fallout, for example, isn't exactly the same, but also like at a certain point it's like. Well, these fucking Telltale games, like people get their saves eaten by these games all the fucking time, and like they're constantly this review criteria doesn't exactly apply to them the same way. So I'm just kind of like I'm not the person that's all like, oh, it's a conspiracy or whatever the fuck, but like I don't know, just have some consistency, I guess. And if this is how you're gonna be going forward, that'd be awesome. I would love that. If every Telltale game until they fix their fucking broken ass piece of shit engine got a 4, that would be great. And then
some reviewers are starting to give it bad scores because of the shitty engine too.
It's
so
fucking terrible. Like you don't play Telltale games that often, but like it's. Like,
I can imagine like a joke happens or something, and then you're like waiting there, and people aren't moving, and it's like the punchline passes.
And Batman, it was the 5th episode, and spoilers, I guess, for Batman. It's not light spoilers, I guess. This guy gets shot, and the guy's father's holding him in his arms, and like, no, don't. But the fucking game was on a scene before that while this shit is happening. It fucking, like, ruins it. And I'm just like, why is this acceptable? And, like, this has to... I understand, like, if it's, like, a small-scale issue and maybe it doesn't happen to them. But, like, these fucking Telltale shits happen to everybody. There's no one that I've met that's like, no, the Telltale game ran perfectly for every single episode I've ever played. Like, so this shit is happening. It's just, like, call it out when you see it. And I would be so happy if this is how it's going to be going forward. But, like... I don't know for sure if it's gonna be like when the next Telltale game comes out and it's like even if it is good and it's still getting like a 6 and like not a 6, I guess a 6 would be okay, but like if it gets like a 9 and then I go on the forums for Telltale's games and a billion people are like fucking shit crashed for me a billion times and ate my save, it's like, well, you don't have the consistency right here is my biggest complaint, I guess, with it.
Works on my machine.
Yeah,
that's the worst
that's the one that you see that thread. Yeah, and like I understand that from a reviewer's perspective, especially if you're getting a game in advance, like you don't know these technical issues are gonna happen, for everybody. But like at a certain point, like with the I keep picking on Telltale, but like what the fuck? Fuck your engine. Fuck you.
I get it.
But yeah, then I also want to broaden it up, I guess, to review scores in general, like because I feel like different feelings about review scores, not maybe significantly, but definitely like what is your take on review scores?
I think that they're way too inflated right now. I think that the fact that a 7 to a 10 is like the actual scale, and then everything below that is watchable filth that no one should play, is terrible. I'm okay with like review aggregate sites. I rely on them to like kind of see what's good and what isn't. OpenCritic's all right. They're pretty transparent with their stuff. I don't think it's the end all be all, but like it is good for finding out what is coming out that is amazing and what might not be amazing. Reviews don't need a score. I feel like moving away from scores is good, but at the same time, I like to get it like at a glance, an opinion delivered to me. But this is really going to broaden the playing field as far as like criteria that can be used to issue a score. Yeah. Is it just the performance? Is it the gameplay? Is it everything? So yeah, and different reviewers value different things, obviously.
Yeah, it's all subjective.
So it is all subjective. And so I have finally kind of started to grow out of I'm not going to play a game unless it's like an 85 on whatever site. I kind of just look at it and I'm like, am I going to enjoy this?
Yeah.
Yes or no, like What Remains of Edith Finch got really good reviews. I played it. I was like, I don't get it, but and so it's more important to like see what looks good to you. take a look at the reviews. If you think it's going to affirm your opinion, then go for it. And if it's steering you in one direction or the other, that's good too. So definitely use your own subjective eye when looking into things to play.
Yeah, I kind of have the more extremist view, where I think review scores are dumb, like, altogether. Like you were talking about, like, you want the at a glance kind of thing. I think publications should just, some have the box, you know what I'm saying, of like what this game doesn't do well or what it does do well, or just put like a one paragraph kind of like summary of like, and I don't know, I just feel like I feel like scores in general are just so reductive that they take away like kind of like just number one from an audience perspective. It's like I would rather like a game can be an 8, but like if I just look at that and I play XCOM and that game's an 8 and I don't like fucking those games, like obviously I should do more research in that, but like I don't know, it doesn't inform me the way I would like to be informed. And then also from a developer standpoint, it like I don't know, I've never developed a game or anything, but if you worked on something tirelessly for fucking 3 or 4 years and then it's just reduced to it's a 79 on Metacritic, that is what your game, like I don't know, that feels just kind of fucking stupid to me. But,
I agree,
and I understand. I don't hate aggregates in general. Like I don't like hate Metacritic in general. I don't like it like what they did with what was the game? The Bethesda. Well, I guess it wasn't Bethesda. The Fallout New Vegas or whatever, where the Metacritic. Have you heard that story?
Yeah, I've heard
that. The Metacritic was like 1 point less, so they didn't get like bonuses or some shit like that. Like I'm like that's stupid as fuck. But
that's silly.
Like I don't know. Just in general, I feel like review scores can be a little reductive and kind of, I don't know, like they come up with the whole console war stuff where it's like you can point to like quote unquote objective like kind of things on how games are received and stuff like that and be like, oh well, the PS4 is this much better because it has this many X exclusives with an 85 on Metacritic. And I don't know, that just at that point it's just like what the fuck is the point of having an opinion on things where we can just have numbers for everything? I don't know. Like I said, I like stats so much, but like at this point it's just like I'd rather have well thought out intelligent conversations about games that like maybe I don't even like these games or like something like that, but I would rather have it given not the benefit of the doubt, but like more of a fleshed out kind of voyeur into an experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally understand, and there's definitely two sides to that argument. I think you can't stop people from giving things scores because it gets clicks at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time, yeah. Numbers sell.
Yep, that's right. So.
But I don't know. That's just my high-minded New Yorker. I'm doing the glasses thing, kind of take on it. But like at the end of the day, I don't hate them, like in theory. But I also like I hate the culture they bring, where it's just fucking. If a game gets a 7, it's terrible, and if a game gets a 9, it's the best thing in the world. Where it's like, I don't know. There's more nuance that we can have with this discussion, and maybe I'm not necessarily the person that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Too easy to justify shitty opinions using review scores.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Anything else today on the news?
No, that's about it. Yeah.
I am very much looking forward to Vanquish. I'm gonna pick that up. I might pick up Snipper Clips today and play it with Cheyenne. So
that sounds fun. Yeah, I would like to. That seems like a good game. I mean, I played a fuck ton of Mario Kart. Like, Mario Kart is so good.
It is.
We talked about it last week. Mario Kart is so good. We played it, we all got together, we had like a little party kind of thing, and we all played it local and stuff like that, and it works great, and it's just,
it was fun.
Yeah,
super fun.
Game's just so good. And yeah, loving my Switch still. Gotta play Zelda. But yeah, I think I'm gonna dump some time into Zelda this week, and then
have your opinions for next week, and let's talk about why you think it's overrated.
I never said that at all. Not going
into
that perspective at all.
I'm calling it.
All right, you call it out.
I'm calling it.
But yeah, so far this has been the what's it called? What the fuck's the name of the fucking shit? Current gaming podcast. I'm Charles Wade. You can see me on Twitter at Charles Tula. You can add me on everything at Charles Tula, pretty much. David Morgan, what's your Twitter and stuff?
David Morgan 1993 is my Twitter handle, and I am on. That's it, actually. That's really the only social media that I get on. Add him on
Friendster. But yeah, it was fun. We'll do it next week with all the cool news stories, and yeah, I guess that's it. So see ya.
See you guys next week.
Peace.